So this is my fourth video dealing with breaking bad habits that I've developed over so many years of riding fast. Habits I was able to overcome for the most part without ever practicing proper techniques like body position and balance. It's amazing what you can accomplish with speed, momentum, and a pimped out bike. I saw the line and I wanted to take too late here and lost my nerve. I looked at where I did not want to end up instead of past where I wanted to be. Target fixation is a nasty thing in any riding sport. Looks like this spot will take a couple more tries some other day when it's not so damn hot in the sun. This is a spot at McNutt called Burger and Fries. It's a mentally tough 80-foot slab of granite with intimidating ledges and near vertical sections. The hill really isn't that hard once you ride it correctly and can be quite fun to play on. I wanted to try a few different lines and then a couple of different gears just to see how it felt. Maybe attempt to wheelie up the entire thing if I can get my balance to match with throttle control. You can see here, I still want to roll into the hill instead of getting up and onto it. This will take some time to sink in, I guess. One of the skills at the top of my list to learn is lifting the front end without much use of the throttle. This skill is imperative to master, in my opinion, to move on to anything harder. This skill must also happen perfectly from muscle memory alone, as there is never usually enough time to think about it. I found that this is way harder to master than one would think when old habits die hard. Every time I came up to a log or a root or a rock, I simply wanted to roll over it like I'd always done in the past with my enduro bike. I'd get up to a big boulder and simply ride up to the face of it and up over the top with ease. Then at the top I'd realize if it had been any bigger, I'd most likely been in big trouble. The correct way, of course, would be to lift and hit the front wheel higher up into the boulder, forcing the back wheel to hit harder, therefore carrying my momentum up and forward over the top instead of launching up off the top. This exercise perfected is referred to as a splat in trials and extreme enduro. I've been able to accomplish this technique many times in the enduro bike, but only when I was on my game. I needed to have the time and perfect conditions to pull it off. Going down this slope is very hard on my old hands due to muscle atrophy and arthritis. I've been told by a few experienced trials riders to raise the position of my levers to aid in control of steep downhills. I've been hesitant to do this due to the pain, but after a few trips down this rock I'm going to have to work towards raising them. I can definitely see the benefit of having them up and not down. Where they are now, I'm noticing that my wrists roll forward, causing me to hold on with my thumbs, and that's an unpleasant feeling. Turns out that this little bike isn't much in muskeg. There's no getting back and powering through it with a 30-foot rooster tail of mud. This steep hill rock garden has eaten me and others up many times. Going down it is much easier on a bigger bike, but this little thing isn't going to forgive me for poor balance and bike control. I'll come back to this spot and ride up before the weekend is over. It's another day and I'm back on Gordy's. Sadly, it's real dusty and momentum is needed. I'd like to ride it slower, but just can't get enough traction. No matter, it's still a great hill to ride up. This is a spot called the Pit. It's a challenging trail, especially at this spot, where you find yourself on a nasty, rough, twisty uphill right into a multi-layered granite slab. There are several routes up the granite, but the immediate one is into a dip of mud and then straight up an 8-foot vertical section. These guys are taking the easy route around. It's still a challenge to do fast, but much less intimidating than the vertical face. This guy just did exactly what I've done a few times in the past. Target fixation. He saw me and lost his focus. Well, I've had enough of this spot. Without a spotter, if I keep this up, I'm just going to get hurt or damage the bike. It's time to move on. This is a very nasty little spot. I've always gone around it, never gone down it. Once past the hard stuff, the trail leads right into the rock garden that I came down earlier in the video. Not bad for a first try, but I just tried to leap from the top of one rock to the next. That skill doesn't exist yet, I guess. On this ride, I set out with purpose in mind. I wanted to ride some of the rougher trails I knew of as slow as I could. I wanted to practice steering with the bike instead of the bars, and wanted to learn to bounce the back end to gain traction on hills. There are so many things that I picked up from training videos out there that it was hard to remember all the things I wanted to do. But that's the nice thing about this place. I'm fortunate to live close to McNutt, where there is no end to second chances to try it again next time. Throttle control and balance is coming around, and my ability to float off rocks is better than it's ever been now. I'm actually having fun without the struggle. One last major section called Jackrabbit Slim. It has a couple of challenges and a long, steep, loose downhill. This trials tire and extremely active front brake do not make for a fun downhill ride in loose dirt. Well, that's enough for now. I definitely improved today and was able to put what I learned from so many training videos into practice. It was a great day.